Sqilah, Enhancing Careers. Chapter 2. Careers related to flying. Cabin crew / cabin attendant / flight purser / air hostess. Airlines hire flight attendants to serve as the cabin crew. The job requires ensuring the safety and comfort of passengers for a smooth flying experience. Cabin crew is the most visible employee of the airline, and this job is attached with a lot of glamour in aviation industry as it takes one to various places all around the world. However, crew is appointed for safety of passengers, and other duties come only after the safety. There are many skills needed in cabin crew, including swimming, which may be required in unlikely event of water landing. However, this is highly demanding career, physically as well as mentally. A cabin crew in an international flight of 8 to 10 hours of duration actually walks over 5 miles within the aircraft. While serving the passengers in cabin, bending in the knees is more than 200 times and operating in the small space of galley and always running against the time. There is no place to sit during the duty. Sitting is possible only while landing or during the takeoff run on a jump seat. Thus, it is one of the most physically challenging career. Moreover, handling different types of people of various age group poses many challenges. Another challenge is that the crew is subjected to different time zones in short span of time on regular basis, which disturbs their body clock, and they must take adequate rest and measures to overcome all these challenges. Cabin crew has to be always alert as their job is for safety of passengers during the flight. A flight attendant's job involves ensuring travelers are safe and comfortable. The responsibilities associated with the role include taking orders, serving food and drinks, answering questions, offering additional assistance, and providing passengers with safety information. In addition to being polite and patient, you will need to have excellent communication skills and a willingness to travel for work, often with the need to stay away from home. Responsibilities of cabin crew are also very high. They should maintain a professional appearance, be well-behaved, and maintain a professional attitude. They are frequently regarded as the face of an airline company, so their customer service skills must be of the highest caliber. Their responsibilities include checking pre- and post-flight records, assisting customers with finding their seats, welcoming passengers on board, and providing them with safety instructions. However, once the crew is mentally and physically prepared for such career, they can become a very professional and efficient persons and can enjoy the benefits of such fascinating career. Air hostesses enjoy a highly reputable job and can lead luxurious lives. An air hostess is well paid, respected, and has the opportunity to work in other industries even after retiring from the aviation industry. The first step in pursuing a career as a flight attendant is to complete the initial cabin crew training. The crew members should be physically and mentally fit, since most of their working hours will be spent in the aircraft. In addition to having excellent customer service skills, they should also be capable of multitasking. This training prepares every flight attendant with the knowledge and skills they need. The airline cabin crew course covers matters such as passenger handling and safety, including the safety of aircraft equipment and emergency procedures, security aspects in aviation, smoke and firefighting, first aid, and more. Flight attendants are most likely to work in civil aviation through commercial airlines, but opportunities also exist in general aviation as well. Most companies hiring flight attendants expect their employees to have senior secondary, 10+2, certification, or an equivalent like the General Educational Development, GED, test. A degree in hospitality or travel and tourism can also boost employability prospects. Physical attributes play a very important role in getting selected for this career. Some requirements to becoming a flight attendant may include minimum age of 18 or 21, according to individual airlines conditions. Minimum height of 5 feet and 3 inches. Clear skin and no visible tattoos or piercings. Physical ability to carry meal carts and open emergency exits. No history of mental illness. Vision of 20/40 and competent hearing. Ability to swim. Most flight attendants also undergo intensive training after their selection. Having strong communication skills, being fluent in international languages, and proficiency in basic computer skills and math is an added advantage. Sqilah Advanced Learning's Private Limited has developed e-learning courses for this important career. Here are links to these courses. Certified in Travel Geography and World Time Zones. Certified in In-Flight Services. Certified in Cabin Crew Career. Diploma in Cabin Crew Career. Training of Cabin Crew. Cabin crew is not a licensed job, and hence the training is all in the private sector. The training involves personality development, grooming, cabin simulator training, emergency evacuation training, first air, etc. as mandatory subjects. ITA has started offering cabin crew training in distance learning mode very recently. Every airline offers training for cabin crew in their own products and services, no matter what background a candidate has come from. Even if one cabin crew migrates from one airline to the other, he or she has to undergo a training for that airline. Crew Schedule Coordinator. Airline Crew Schedule Coordinator is responsible for staffing of aircrew and ground support to keep flights on schedule. Cabin crew duty times are regulated by the governing laws which cannot be violated, hence, finding the right crew eligible for a particular flight is a major challenging task. Crew Schedule Coordinator is responsible for this. If weather or mechanical difficulties delay a flight, it is the crew scheduler's responsibility to make sure schedule adjustments are made so that travelers arrive at their destination on time. Flight crew/flight operations. Positions such as pilots or mechanics require special licenses issued by the aviation regulator and specific previous work experience. There are many stringent criteria for pilots, flight engineers, flight dispatchers, and many crucial operations positions. The recruitment takes place over a long process of written examinations and series of personal interviews. Pilot. Pilots and co-pilots are the people responsible for actually flying aircraft. Airline pilot is one of the most lucrative and sought-after jobs in the aviation industry. It is also, undoubtedly, the most glamorous and rewarding. The primary responsibility of a pilot is the safe transport of passengers and freight to their respective destinations. Their daily duties may include creating flight plans based on aircraft and weather conditions, performing aircraft checks before every flight, adhering to flight regulations and safety guidelines, communicating and coordinating with ATC for safe takeoff and landing, checking cockpit instruments for any malfunctions, to ensure that passengers follow safety instructions through cabin crew, filing reports on an aircraft's condition upon landing. Airline pilots tend to require a bachelor's degree and a pilot's license, but some pilot aviation careers do not require a degree. Concentration and the ability to make sound decisions under pressure are vital. Professionals in this role go through tedious training to learn how to safely operate an aircraft. If you wish to pursue a career in aviation as an airline pilot, you must first meet the licensing requirements of your state, do the ground training theory course, which includes technical subjects like aircraft performance, aviation meteorology, etc., and then work towards accumulating a certain number of flight hours to advance your career. The course demands 18 to 24 months of study, along with 200 to 300 hours of flying to maintenance work on aircraft. Post-completion, you will receive a license and subsequently you can specialize in type rating. Pilots can work as commercial pilots or fly private jets for organizations or individuals who own personal aircraft. The requirements to becoming a commercial pilot and fly passenger planes are a valid commercial pilot's license, CPL, a valid airline transport pilot's license, ATPL. 2,000 plus hours of flying experience, flight time. 20/20 vision either naturally or with corrective devices like glasses. Sound judgment and quick reflex. Knowledge of aviation regulations and safety protocols. Read more, How to Become a Pilot in India, a step-by-step guide. Training of pilots. Obtaining a commercial pilot's license (CPL) is a well-laid-down process by all the aviation regulators. There are training schools accredited by the regulators, and the training is prescribed including ground training as well as flying. Within flying there are IFR/VFR and solo trainings. Training also covers rating for single-engine and multi-engine planes. In each country, there are accredited flying schools who train aspiring students to become pilot. Training of flight operations staff. This training is also provided by the airlines to its staff internally. Most of the jobs would be licensed, and each country's regulators play an important role in evaluation of training in this line. Certified Flight Instructor, CFI. Flight instructors teach students how to operate an aircraft. Besides practical instructions on a pilot's role, they also teach theoretical topics such as aerodynamics, equipment, and safety protocols. In addition, they can start hands-on training with a flight simulator and accompany the student pilots on actual flights. The aviation regulator of the state is the official body that governs this sector and offers 2 ratings based on skills and qualification. Flight dispatcher/flight operations officer. Flight dispatchers are responsible for ensuring the safety of an aircraft's flight and assists in flight planning, which includes a detailed schedule of destinations, layovers, distance, estimated fuel burn, aircraft performance and loading, thunderstorms and turbulence forecasts, airspace restrictions, airport conditions, winds aloft, weather, altitude, compass bearing, and alternate destinations in case of problems. Dispatchers also provide a flight following service and advise pilots if conditions change. Job of a flight dispatcher is next only to pilot in terms of safety and security of the flight. Hence, this job is also licensed by the regulators. There are flight dispatch schools accredited by FAA in USA who train aspiring students to appear for flight dispatcher exam and issue certificates to the successful candidates. Flight dispatchers usually work in the operations center of the airline and usually share responsibility for the exercise of operational control, which gives them authority to divert, delay, or cancel a flight. The dispatcher uses sophisticated software tools to monitor the flight's progress and advises the flight crew of any circumstances that might affect flight safety. They are in constant communication with the air crew and could be contacted through phone and radio. Shared responsibility adds a layer of checks and balances to aircraft operation and greatly improves safety. A dispatcher must be certified by the aviation authority of the country in which they operate or have a base of operations, such as the DGCA in India. In order to obtain a certificate, a candidate must demonstrate extensive knowledge of meteorology and of aviation in general to a level comparable to the holder of an airline transport pilot (ADP) certificate. Flight dispatchers in a typical airline are generally responsible for overseeing anywhere from 10 to 25 flights simultaneously, depending on the daily ops. All the while, dispatchers are also constantly planning new flights while monitoring current ones. Flight dispatchers are expected to have a big picture view of weather conditions, aircraft status, fuel planning, and other operational aspects of maintaining smooth airline operations. Because of the constantly changing nature of airline operations, flight dispatchers experience a high level of stress in the workplace as they balance operational constraints and pressures with the overriding safety mandate of the job. Sqilah Advanced Learnings Private Limited is soon launching 2 online e-learning courses for this career as follows: Certified Flight Dispatch Professional, Certified Flight Operations Professional, Air Traffic Controller. Air traffic controllers coordinate aircraft movements to ensure safety, efficiency, and minimal delay. They provide directions and instructions to pilots and other crew members and manage the landing and takeoff of the aircraft at the airport. They also monitor the airborne aircraft using radar and other visual aids to ensure security. The work is particularly important in an emergency, such as a malfunctioning aircraft or challenging weather conditions. Therefore, to work in this role, you need to have excellent verbal communication skills and the ability to work under extreme pressure. You also need attention to detail and strong concentration. Skills include staying focused during long shifts and being responsible for the safety of travelers. To apply for an entry-level role, such as junior executive controller, it is important to complete a bachelor's degree such as a B or a BSc. Studying subjects such as science and math is also beneficial. Bachelor's degree in air traffic management, aviation administration, or related field. Air traffic control license issued by respective aviation authority, completion of air traffic control training program, passing exams. Avionics technicians. Avionics technicians specialize in working on the electronic systems of aircraft. Avionics technician jobs involve troubleshooting, repairing, replacing, and installing avionic equipment. Calibration of the equipment may also be required. Load planner / loadmaster. A dispatcher is assisted by a load planner. They must carefully plan the loading of the aircraft and do the weight and balance calculations for the aircraft. In some cargo aircraft, they have to visually inspect the loading, making sure it has been done in accordance with their instructions. When a load planner is on board the airplane as a member of the crew, he or she will be in charge of planning, loading, and offloading the cargo for the duration of the flight, and is known as loadmaster. Under the regulations, it is stipulated that the load of an aircraft throughout the flight, including takeoff and landing, shall be so distributed that the center of gravity position of the aircraft falls within the limitations specified or approved by the regulator. It is also necessary that the aircraft is loaded within specified limits to ensure safe operation. Person deputed by airline for preparing load and trim sheet and loading of aircraft shall be qualified and trained. The qualification and experience requirements for load and trim sheet staff, in particular, are as follows. Education, higher secondary or holder of a flying license. Basic level courses in load control / ramp handling / dangerous goods. Basic knowledge of passenger services and cargo handling. Experience in areas of aircraft loading / load control and documentation. Experience of preparing load and trim sheets. Be conversant with computerized DCS and producing manual load sheets. Duties and responsibilities include performing aircraft weight and balance and documentation activities for the airline, ensure legal and safety compliance requirement as outlined by regulatory bodies, source opportunities to maximize aircraft space utilization and fuel uptake, create work / process efficiencies, etc. Sqilah Advanced Learnings has specifically designed a course for this career. Certified Aircraft Load Sheet Expert. Aviation Meteorologist. Aviation meteorologists provide weather information to airline flight dispatchers and pilots. They must determine current and forecasted weather conditions for all altitudes, including the direction and speed of wind, cloud cover, and precipitation. This is one of the more fascinating and unique aviation careers. If you work in this role, you're responsible for monitoring weather patterns, forecasting weather conditions, and communicating up-to-date information to those who need it, including pilots, air traffic controllers, and airfield operations specialists. Aside from relevant qualifications, strong communication skills and attention to detail are essential.